I recently had a little exhaust leak on my project car. I could hear it pss, 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 every time that I would accelerate the car. And I would walk around and try to find it, and I just couldn't find it. But I also realized there was a missing or a vibration that all of it together led me to think maybe I had a stopped up catalytic converter. So I took it to an exhaust shop. And I asked them, and the guy put it up on a lift, and he looked under it, and he said, wow, that's a really ugly exhaust system. You got this cut off over here and welded onto there, and that added here, and this here, and that. That's not the right way it's supposed to be done. We could fix it. It's going to be about $1,800. I'm like, that's twice as much as I paid for my little project car. Why would I want to put all that in the exhaust when I still got other things I got to do to it? I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. I want to remind you that education is not wisdom. Knowledge is not wisdom. They're different. See, I took my car to another shop for a second opinion like you would if you were going to see a dentist or a doctor, and the other shop put it up on the lift, and he brought it back down, and he walked to the corner, and he grabbed a piece of hose about 18 inches long, and he stuck it in his ear. And I was thinking to myself, I should probably run. But then he lifted the hood and he stuck the other end of that hose down around the sides of the exhaust manifold and near the edge of the engine block. And then he came back up and he raised the car back up and he stuck the hose underneath in a couple of places. And he said, yep, you got an exhaust leak. I was like, well, I'm glad the hose could tell you that. I said, well, what about the catalytic converter? Is it possible that it was stopped up? And he got a blowtorch and he cut a hole in my exhaust. And then he cut another hole in it, and then another hole in it, and then another hole in it. And so now I got the leak I came with and 4 more holes in my exhaust, and I'm thinking, that is not what I wanted. But he stuck his hose in all of those places. He said, nope, your catalytic converter's not stopped up. You got a good even airflow all the way through. It sounds exactly the same at every spot, before and after. You got no exhaust fumes coming out in front of it. You're good to go. I said, okay, well, what about the leak? He said, yeah, it's a hole. You're going to have to do something about it. I said, well, what's it going to take to fix it? He said, somebody's going to have to weld that downpipe. I said, okay. How long will that take? How much money are we talking about? He goes, 5 minutes and say $20. I was like, 20 or 1800, 20 or 1800, 20. Yeah, duh, $20. I'll skip lunch a couple of days. Fix the hole. So I went back inside and sat down and had a nice cold drink while I waited for him to weld the hole and the 4 that he created back into my exhaust. Now, I don't want to diminish the other guys and their opinion of my exhaust. I believe they were experts in what they do. I believe they had all the right tools because they checked the heat temperature on each of the cats before they gave me an answer. They looked at the way that an exhaust system should be mounted and the way that my exhaust system was mounted, and they were not the same. And I get that. But I also understand that there's a way to make it work well, and there's a way to sell more things. And they're not the same either. In your leadership, on a regular basis, you're going to have an opportunity to do the right thing and an opportunity to do the thing that makes you the most amount of money. And they're not always the same thing. Sometimes doing the right thing is what allows you in business to pursue your business growth. It's what allows your customers to go to the next level, to go to the next level, to go to the next level. It's what allows your clients to improve. But just because it's what allows them to improve and improve and improve doesn't mean you should add on sales things to boost your sales if you're not getting the results. It doesn't mean you should add parts just to sell parts. It doesn't mean that you do services that are unnecessary for your client. See, there's a same difference, in my opinion, between knowledge and wisdom. There are a lot of people who get paid because they have the lambskin on the wall, they have the degree, they have the MBA or the PhD, and they get paid because they've got all this education behind them. But what you're paying for is like that $1,800 exhaust system. If it doesn't have the experience that says, I've not only learned this, but I tried it out. And I know where it falls short and where it works really, really well. And I know how to make this work for you. See, I'd take the experience and the wisdom over just the education any day. One of my favorite things to ask in a crowd, especially after I've taught for a couple of hours, is, what do you think my degree is in? Is it an MBA? Is it theology? Is it psychology? Is it just business? What do you think I'm trained in? I'll have to answer that another day. I'm all out of time. I'm J Loren Norris on Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.